Some stories never fade. They linger, etched in the shadows of memory, eternal yet incomplete. The brilliance of yesterday was scattered to the winds, leaving only echoes in its wake. And in that silence, I found myself, alone. My name is Luna. This is not a story of endings. It is a story of beginnings. On the anniversary of Rain's passing, fate, relentless and enigmatic, tied our paths together once more. Alex, Constantine, names I thought belonged only to a distant past, now illuminated in the light of the present. For too long, I fought against the tides of destiny. But what if surrender wasn't a weakness? What if letting go was the key to setting myself free? Life whispered its truth. Every beginning promises an end, and time, fleeting and finite, waits for no one. If the hands of the clock began moving once more, I would step boldly into its rhythm, no longer the fragile shadow of my former self. I am no longer the girl paralyzed by fear, crouching in defeat. No, the winds of change stir something within me, an anticipation that crackles like electricity. The world is shifting, and I am ready to shift with it. Piece by piece, I search through the labyrinth of my memory, gathering fragments of who I was. Not everything can be found. Some shards are lost forever. And maybe that's okay. Perhaps my story was never meant to be mine alone. The fear of imperfection lingered, but if brokenness defines me, then let me shatter forward unapologetically. After all, isn't life about embracing the chaos, seizing every fleeting moment, and daring to struggle beautifully within the confines of time? Right. Rain? The call came unexpectedly. Constantine's voice carried a sense of nostalgia, layered with something new. Alex and I were talking about playing music again the other day. If you're interested, why don't you join us? The words hit me like a sudden chord, resonating deeply. I paused, unsure of what to say, before he added gently, "Don't push yourself. It feels like he wants to start again." The weight of those words broke through my defenses. Tears slipped silently down my face as I managed to choke out my response. "Of course I'll come." His joy was palpable, even through the phone. "Really? He'll be thrilled." I couldn't help but ask the question burning in my mind. "Are you thinking of getting beautiful minorities back together? And what about the bassist?" The line went quiet for a moment before Constantine replied, his voice tinged with sadness. "It might be hard to bring the band back together." Rain. He's the only bassist I can ever imagine for beautiful minorities. Silence filled the space between us, heavy yet familiar. Then, I spoke with resolve. "I'll come to the studio too. Let me know the date and time. I've been practicing piano lately, actually planning to perform for the first time at an outdoor festival." Constantine's surprise was evident. "Seriously? I didn't know. Let me know when it is. I'd love to see you play." I couldn't help but laugh, shaking my head. "Don't come on that day. I'm still a beginner, and I'll die of embarrassment if you're there watching." The laughter on both ends felt like stepping into a time machine. Suddenly, we were teenagers again, caught in the effortless rhythm of dreams and banter. The day of the outdoor festival arrived, carrying with it a bittersweet sense of déjà vu. This was my first concert since stepping away from music, a return to the stage where so much had begun. Yet, the three who once stood beside me were absent, their places now filled by memory. As I approached the stage, the world seemed to pause. Then, like a wave breaking on the shore, a thunderous cheer rose up to greet me. It wasn't just noise, it was warmth, alive and palpable, wrapping itself around me like an embrace. I had planned to start playing right away, but something stirred within me. I leaned into the mic, letting my voice carry over the crowd. "I'm Luna." My voice wavered, but I pressed on. "I'm sorry I've been away for so long. The truth is, I haven't been myself for a while. I was terrified to step onto this stage today. But hearing your voices reminded me, I'm not alone. A breath, then a question carried on trembling words. If I can't sing anymore, will you sing with me? The eruption of cheers swept through me like a storm, and I felt goosebumps ripple across my skin. For the first time in a long while, I felt ready. Thank you, I said, my smile breaking through. Tonight, I'll sing the first song I ever wrote, for you. And as the first notes echoed into the night, the past and present collided in perfect harmony. The concert was raw, messy, imperfect, just like me. As expected, I broke down in tears more than once, my voice faltering before the microphone. But the audience didn't let me fall. Their voices lifted me, pulling me back to my feet, until finally, toward the end, a tentative calm began to settle over me, and then I saw him. Among the faces in the crowd, one stood out, a presence that froze me in place. The person I had been searching for. Rain. Time blurred as I stepped off the stage and into the audience, a rush of blurred figures closing in around me. Yet somehow, I was moving through them, toward him. He saw me, he was already running. I didn't think, I just embraced him with every fiber of my being. It hurts, he said, his voice strained. I pulled back, startled. That face, it wasn't Rain. It was different, yet hauntingly familiar. Panic bubbled up as I stammered, I'm sorry. I thought you were someone else. He laughed, soft and easy, his words unraveling the mystery. I'm Shine, Rain's younger brother. Do you remember me? The memories drifted back, distant but unmistakable. Shine, as a boy, framed in the shadow of his older brother. Of course I remember you, I said, my voice steadying. You were just a kid back then. You look so much like Rain now. I didn't know what to think. I'm sorry. Shine's laughter was bright, unguarded, a sound so different from the heavy ache I had carried. By the way, I said, my voice shifting, Rain talked about you a lot. You play the bass too, don't you? He spoke with a smile that was both proud and hopeful. "Yes," he answered, "I do. I want to be just like my big brother." In that moment, his face seemed to glow. Not with the shadow of rain, but with his own radiance. His own undeniable light. Later that evening, I called Constantine, the memory of the festival still shimmering in my mind. "Today, during my performance at the outdoor festival, I met someone extraordinary. You won't believe who it was." He laughed, his tone teasing. "Don't keep me in suspense, spill it." I smiled, savoring the moment. "Do you remember Rain's brother? Shine?" He once mentioned he had a brother who looks just like him. From the stage, I caught a glimpse and thought it was Rain. After the concert, I rushed to him and hugged him without a second thought. Constantine's laughter exploded through the phone, unrestrained and infectious. "Shine?" He managed between laughs. "You're telling me Rain's brother was there, and he plays the bass too?" But as his laughter faded, silence hung in the air, subtle and significant. "Constantine," I ventured cautiously, "are you okay? Did you hear me?" His reply was steady, measured, like the turning of a page. "Shall we bring Shine to the studio?" Stories weave through the fabric of this world, fleeting connections, parting paths, some ephemeral, some eternal. No matter how tightly I hold onto the present, fate's relentless march continues, indifferent to my wishes. No matter how deeply I long to rewind time, life refuses to grant me the same innocence I once possessed, the naive clarity of not knowing. This world turns, uncaring and unyielding, as I continue my journey. It began in solitude, but along the way, I met others, their lives intertwining with mine. The road stretches on, uncertain and infinite, and I walk forward, step by step, into the unknown. My name is Luna. This isn't just my story. This is our story.
Close your eyes, hold my hand. We'll become the start and one. This is us, it's our route to go around. Open my heart, hold you high. Sing a lullaby to you on the road. You remember there is tomorrow beyond the certain sun. Way back home with you. Travel everyday happiness. We'll spin this to you next to the end. Where will you be me? Seasons that change many times. What doesn't change in the memory we spin. We already know again and again. Life is back here again someday. Beautiful smile, I know who you are, even if you look different. Nobody knows our origin. You never disappear from my memory.